Gem World, we got a farmer by the name of Kent. And this is Young Justice issue 3. So our comic opens up with, well, Bart Allen gushing over the fact that, hey, he's found Connor Kent, aka Superboy, aka a clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. And he's tearing up. He's like, "It's you, Connor. It's you, my best bro." And it's kind of sweet, and it'd be a lot more sweet if maybe this had been the focus of the entire Young Justice story. You know, looking for Connor Kent, or they've been looking for each other like at all. But anyway, Connor's real question is like, how is he here? And that's Bart's question, like, how are you here? And before we can find out, we're met by Cornelian of the Royal Court, by the Royal Court of Opal. He is, as he says, the law, and he tells Bart to step away from that gem farmer. And if Bart's like, okay, yeah, no, not gonna happen here. You think you're the main boss? No, you're a beginning boss at best. He's getting ready to just fight up like me and Superboy. We got this. We're gonna fight. And he also points out, like, that's the guy that came to our planet to start some stuff. And he says, no, I came down to Earth to stop you guys because you've had all these crises happen. And he said, like, we came there to stop your guy Superman. And Bart's like, yeah, Superman's fine, by the way, Connor, so we're good. And we're gonna stop you. And he turns around, and instead of seeing Connor get ready to fight, Connor's on his knees with his hands behind his head. And then Bart gets tased. And what happens next? Well, we don't know yet, because now we have to explain how Connor got here. It all pretty much started in New Mexico, where, like Cassie, he fights off a monster. And instead of really questioning things, he just sort of, gives the rundown to the sun, like, hey, so, in the middle of New Mexico, science experiment, pretty cliche. And the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like, that's sort of the weird thing about this whole science thing. It's all just a means to an end for this story here with Connor. So Connor goes to Smallville High School to just sort of sit through class, and then he realizes that he's come to a conclusion. He doesn't want to stay here anymore. He doesn't want to be in school. He realized that he's here because he felt he needed to be, because half of him does want to be here. Half of him, the Clark Kent half, that makes up who he is, likes the simple things. He likes the day-to-day life of childhood. But there's another part of him, the Lex Luthor part. I guess it's that he wants more. He wants to go out and travel and see the world, and he realizes that, it's time. So he goes to the science lab and says, and he decides to figure out exactly, what's going on down here. And he doesn't go politely. He knows how these science types work. They won't give you an answer if you don't, demand an answer in the best way possible, which is to go smashing through, realizing that no one there can stop you. And so he goes in, like, hey, the alien's probably back here. I'm probably going to help him out, talk to him, because, I really have an issue with things being kept in a lab, references to his own life. Then he breaks through the wall and realizes there is no alien, but there is the teleporter, and he ends up being teleported to Gem World, which is how we got here. And then there poses the question from our law gem, I'm just going to call him that, asking about why did that sparkling boy, Bart, think you were about to be a concerned farmer? And he says, well, it was the shirt. He was confused, He thought I was from Earth. And the question is, where did you get that shirt? And he says, I got it at the market, the Topaz Market? No, the Opal Pavilion. Like, nuh-uh, that's Earth-made polyester cotton blend. I've seen it on Earth. My question is, Connor, why are you still wearing that shirt? You could have just easily switched the shirt. Did people only recognize you? Did Bart only recognize you because you had the shirt and the leather jacket? And that's when our law gem says, like, I was originally from Earth. And that's how I know. And that's when Connor starts getting interrogated. Like, are you an Earthan or a Kryptonian or both? And either way, what are you doing here? And Connor says, well, if you didn't believe me about the shirt, I don't think you're going to like the truth. And that's when a woman calls him Connor, and we see her holding a child. And that's when he reveals, that's my wife and my child. And before we can go further than that, we then cut to a prison where our previous team of Tim, Jenny, Cassie, Amethyst, and the Teen Lantern are just sort of there, like, so, how did that go? And we get a recap of this huge clash that they had. It didn't end well. They lost. And Cassie feels really bad, but also they're noticing that in this place, in these cells, their strength is being sapped. Tim's intelligence seems to be fading a bit, and they even took the Teen Lantern's ring. And this is courtesy of the Dark Lord Opal, in Gemworld casting. And then we sort of have the question here. The comic ends with on a little bit of a high note. Well, sort of a high comedy note where Cassie goes, "Sorry about this, everyone. I'm working through some stuff. We don't quite know what that stuff is, though. That's a problem with this book." And Tim goes, "It's okay, nobody blames anyone, Cass." And Amethyst just takes a pause and goes, "Reality itself is falling apart, and I'm the only one who knows or can do anything about it, and I'm stuck down here. I totally blame her." And that's how the comic ends. So Young Justice issue 3 is good, to be fair. I do like seeing Connor and Bart's interactions. I do like what happened to Connor for the most part. But at the same time, it feels like we're trying to tell too many stories at once here. Each issue seems to be devoted so far to telling the story of how not really we got to this point, but how we got to where we got here. So last issue was Cassie, this issue it's Superboy. So that leaves Jenny, Teen Lantern, Impulse, Amethyst, and Tim. And it's also interesting that Superboy, or Connor, has a wife and child here. For those of you that may be a bit new to this, originally Connor and Cassie were an item. Then Connor got Final Crisis. I'm sorry, he got Infinite Crisis, courtesy of Superboy Prime. And then Tim was dating Cassie. And the question is, where's Stephanie Brown, Tim's girlfriend? So it seems Bendis has already figured out a way to have his continuity cake and eat it too. Anyway, with that in mind, let's bring this video to close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, and share. Leave your thoughts down on what you thought about this book. If you liked it, if you didn't, love to hear it. And I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and may your fandom serve you well.